877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I decided, ladies and gentlemen, to look at what is a crucially consequential decision, if it's not reversed, in Texas involving those 10 seats that Governor Abbott in the legislature created, and the attack by this 3-judge panel, the appellate panel, 2 judges voting that it was unconstitutional, 1 judge in an incredible dissent, over 100 pages long, absolutely rejected it. And I want to read you what our friends Hans von Spakovsky had to say about it. He's a great guy at the Heritage Foundation. He's a longtime friend, and years ago he worked in the Civil Rights Division handling voting rights cases. He said on Tuesday the media was filled with stories that a 3-judge panel had voted 2-1 to issue a 160-page order blocking the Texas legislature's new congressional redistricting plan. The order claimed the redistricting was unlawfully based on race as opposed to partisanship, a claim at odds with what we saw happen in the partisan political fight within the state legislature, which included a walkout by Democratic legislators. What wasn't attached to the order was the dissenting opinion by Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals Judge Jerry Smith. Now, this man is a 37-year veteran of the federal judiciary, greatly respected for his legal acumen. In other words, he's a towering scholar, incredibly smart. He's an originalist. He sticks to the Constitution. He had a 104-page dissent. It came out a day later. It marks the most scathing denunciation, writes Hans, that I've ever read of another judge. Now, why would a dissent come out a day later? You're about to find out. In this case, the judge being denounced is Judge Jeffrey Vincent Brown. Brown, who wrote the majority decision along with Judge David Guadarrama, who joined the opinion. In his dissent, Smith accused Brown and Guadarrama of, quote, pernicious judicial misbehavior, unquote, and deliberately not providing Judge Smith with, quote, any reasonable opportunity to review Brown's opinion and respond before it was issued. I've never heard of this before. So these 2 collaborated to circumvent the 3rd judge because they didn't want that judge to have the time to reply to the majority opinion. They were going to just ram it through. I have never, ever, in all the years I've been practicing law, ever seen anything like this.
I just turned this motherfucker on.
Judge Smith calls it the most outrageous conduct by a judge, and he's talking about this Judge Jeffrey Vincent Brown, the most outrageous behavior by a judge that I've ever encountered in a case in which I've been involved. Now, he's been on there 40 years almost. He spends 4 pages going through the timing involved and says that any pretense of judicial restraint, good faith, or trust by these 2 judges is gone. Smith then starts off the substance of his dissenting opinion by acknowledging an undeniable fact, quote, the main winners from Judge Brown's opinion are George Soros and Gavin Newsom. The obvious losers are the people of Texas and the rule of law. Wow. Now remember who this man is. He's not just a federal judge. He's a towering figure. Judge Jerry Smith proceeds to totally dismantle the majority's decision and its unsubstantiated claim that race, not politics, was the driving factor in the redistricting. Throughout, he repeats the phrase, I dissent, more than a dozen times. Smith even includes 2 pages of a non-exhaustive list of misleading, deceptive, or false statements Judge Brown put forward. A very serious charge against a sitting judge. Smith says the list would be considerably longer, but for the press of time. Remember, he had to issue his opinion the next day. He said there's no lack of fodder. There's no lack of evidence that this guy is a complete rogue judge that is the judge he's condemning, Judge Brown. Judge Smith apologizes for his dissent being disjointed, but says refining it was not possible because Brown and Guadarrama, quote, have not allowed it, unquote. Again, remember what they did. They issued their opinion without telling this judge, and so he had to quickly write his dissent the next day. Thus, his dissent, far from a literary masterpiece, but for where a Nobel Prize for fiction, Judge Brown's opinion would be a prime candidate, he writes. Now, Judge Smith says Brown's opinion is so deceptive and so lacking in facts or law that Brown could have saved himself and the readers a lot of time and effort by merely stating the following. I just don't like what the legislature did here. It was unnecessary, and it seems unfair to disadvantage voters. I need to step in to make sure wiser heads prevail over the nakedly partisan and racially questionable actions of these zealous lawmakers. He's mocking the judge. I'm using my considerable clout as a federal district judge to put a stop to bad policy judgments. After all, I get paid to do what I think is right. Judge Brown's actions are, Judge Smith wrote in his dissent, the most blatant exercise of judicial activism that he has ever witnessed during his lengthy judicial career of nearly 40 years. Brown's actions are, Smith wrote, the most blatant exercise. According to Smith, the main question before the three-judge panel was, quote, whether the Texas legislature did its mid-decade congressional districting to gain political advantage or instead because the main goal of the Texas Republican legislators is to slash the voting rights of persons of color. Smith likened the approach of the lawyers and witnesses in this case to that of the Department of Justice lawyers from the Civil Rights Divisions of the prior Texas redistricting cases. He said it was obvious from the start the DOJ attorneys viewed state officials and the legislative majority and their staff as a bunch of backwoods hayseed bigots who bemoaned the abolition of the poll tax and pined for the days of literacy tests and lynching. And the DOJ lawyers saw themselves as an expeditionary landing party arriving here just in time to rescue the state from oppression. He's talking about decades ago. And he's saying this case is no different. What's taking place here is an abomination.
Does not want to respond.
And Hans writes, having worked in the Civil Rights Division, I can assure you that this observation is absolutely 100% correct. While acknowledging that the Justice Department was not present in the case, Smith said that the same attitudes about Texas Republican legislators have been reflected in the testimony of multiple experts and witnesses presented by these plaintiffs, and occasionally by their talented counsel in the statements of the parties. But the obvious reason for the Texas redistricting, Smith wrote, was partisan gain, not racism. The majority, he wrote, commits grave error in concluding that the Texas legislature is more bigoted than political. And Judge Smith methodically points out all the grave errors Brown and Guadarrama made in evaluating the evidence in the case over what the legislators did and how and why the new districts were drawn and the way they were. Those errors are too numerous to list. And remember, this poor judge had to do this in a 24-hour period. Judge Smith's conclusion, the majority committed grave errors, the key legal standard for overturning a preliminary order. Texas has already filed an appeal with the Supreme Court of the United States. Smith says the evidence in the case, as well as outside events like the, quote, victory lap in Houston to celebrate by California Governor Gavin Newsom, tell you all you need to know. This is about partisan politics, plain and simple. Regardless of one's political slant, he wrote, it's obvious what Texas is trying to do in 2025, obvious to everyone that is except the two judges who joined the majority opinion. The Republicans' national margin in the House of Representatives is so slim that squeezing out a majority might even depend day to day on whether some seats are vacant because of deaths or resignations. The new plan in Texas was to make more seats winnable for Republicans by moving some Democrat incumbents from their districts and rendering their districts unwinnable by Democrats. Smith described the plaintiff's theory, the one ultimately adopted by this rogue Judge Brown, as both perverse and bizarre. They claimed that if politics was the reason for redistricting, then the Republicans would not have drawn 5 new seats, but instead would have drawn 6, 7, or 8 additional seats. And that the reason they didn't is that the real reason for the redistricting was racial animus. The absurdity of that notion, he said, speaks for itself. Smith concludes his dissent by citing the unfairness the majority is imposing on Texas voters. He says, who are having a map implemented by their duly elected legislature overturned by a self-aggrandizing, results-oriented court. Man, he's ripping the skin off these two bastards. He tells the Supreme Court that Brown's order, replete with legal and factual error, accompanied by naked procedural abuse, demands reversal by the Supreme Court. And with this decision, Smith writes, darkness descends on the rule of law. These two judges, led by this guy Brown, they basically camouflage their opinions in the law. And yes, Brown was appointed by Trump. There's a lot of judges appointed by a lot of Republican presidents who flip once they're on the court, and this guy's obviously has flipped, absolutely has flipped. Doesn't matter who appointed him. It doesn't tell you anything about him. But what a disgrace, absolute disgrace. Now let's see if the California system is upheld or not, which is a true outrage of the worst kind. Texas, you might say, did the same thing. No, they didn't. They didn't even come close to doing what California did. Or Massachusetts, where there's not a single Republican district. How does that work? How is that constitutional? And we could go on and on by why would we? The courts destroy themselves when they conduct themselves this way. And forever remember who this guy is. Judge Jeffrey Brown, a fake, a phony, a fraud. A kook lawyer dressed up as a judge. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
You know, folks, Americans rely on credit cards for secure payments and seamless transactions. But consumers stand to lose it all with the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandate bill. Big government mandates favor corporate megastores and allow them to choose how your credit card is processed. They might end up using untested payment networks that could jeopardize your data security and rewards. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Visit guardyourcard.com to learn more. That's guardyourcard.com, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
The accident on the outer loop in Landover Road now clear, but traffic still jams up from St. Barnabas Road. Also heavy on the outer loop through Bethesda from River Road to the GW Parkway, some delays through McLean, and still a slow go from the Springfield interchange to the Wilson Bridge, and the inner loop still slow, headed from 66 to the Spur, and more delays through Bethesda in towards College Park. There is accident activity in Cloverleaf that has the northbound lanes of New Hampshire Avenue closed, between Briggs Cheney Road and Maryland 198, and another crash now northbound on New Hampshire Avenue at Metzerock Road, and you will still find the accident activity affecting the right lane of 197 north and south end at Rustic Hill Drive, and another crash now reported on Maryland 197 at County Road in Laurel. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, cloudy with a low around 42. Tomorrow, cloudy with a chance of rain, high near 57.
Feeling a little broken these days? There's a reason. We're all aging. I'm Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, co-founder of Fatty 15, and I'm so excited to share with you C15 from Fatty 15. C15 is a crucial healthy aging nutrient that strengthens cells and reverses aging at the cellular level. I discovered the benefits of C15 while helping older Navy dolphins, then spent a decade with fellow doctors to optimize it. With over 100 studies, 60 patents, and 20 awards, science-backed Fatty 15 has 36 cellular activities that support our metabolic, cognitive, liver, immune, and red blood cell health. 70% of Fatty 15 customers report benefits within 16 weeks. Find out today why over 100,000 people have made Fatty 15 their must-have healthy aging supplement. Get an additional 15% off the starter kit by going to fatty15.com/USA and using code USA.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
We're only a few weeks in, and the NBA season is already wild. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus agent eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best when it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. Service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
Meet Rachel. National University supports all her ands. With flexible online courses, she can be a student and an adventurer and a multitasker. She's an Ander. Explore National University's 4- and 8-week courses and associate to doctorate degrees. National University, supporting all your ands. Learn more at nu.edu.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
By the way, we have 2 tremendous Life, Liberty, and Levin programs this weekend. I hope you're all sending your DVRs because I know there's other programming or you might be out, but these are really fantastic programs. Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Miranda Devine, where we're going to go through even more thoroughly the failure of exposing the information related to the assassination attempt on President Trump. And on Sunday, we have Jahancha. We have other guests, too. I mean, these are 2 fabulous shows. You're not going to want to miss them, folks. So the President of the United States, he says, these people, they've committed acts of sedition and it's punishable by death. And does the president want to kill these senators and congressmen who put out that video? And of course, they don't finish the sentence. And did what? We're trying to enlist the military, ladies and gentlemen, in insurrection. I've never seen a more disgusting video in my life, political video. Here's Chuck Schumer trying to make an issue out of it. That poor dumb bastard. Cut 3, go.
Earlier today, Donald Trump shared a post on Truth Social calling for Democratic members of Congress to be hanged. He also posted a message that said, seditious behavior, punishable by death. Let's be crystal clear. The President of the United States is calling for the execution
This
of
poor dumb bastard. He doesn't know what to do. Sounds like he's having a breakdown. He's getting the shakes. He's davening more than usual. And he is a dead politician walking, in the sense that I don't think he can win again. I'm not sure AOC is the one either. Don't get me wrong, because she's dumb as a doorknob, and in a statewide campaign would become clear that she's platitudinous. She's a sloganeer. It's the usual claptrap that they get out of the Communist Manifesto, and that's about it. Like Mandami, but statewide. Looks like Mandami's promises may not hold up. Just as a practical matter, people are saying, where's he going to get the money for free transportation? Funny, they didn't really talk about much of that during the course of the election. You need $700 million to begin with, what was it? Billions of dollars to begin with. And the state's not going to cough that up, so where's he going to get it? Then he says his whole plan for really not a Disneyland filled with homes, but a commie land filled with homes. Looks like that's a problem now. Where are you going to get all the land from to build these things? Practical things really do trip up these crackpot ideologues, doesn't it? And now, of course, the police commissioner is going to hang on. That's to her discredit, her great discredit. If she becomes nothing but a puppet for him and a mouthpiece for him. And come January, hundreds of police officers are eligible to leave. Then what are they going to do? They're going to fill those slots. So, reality's going to kick them where the sun doesn't shine. I'll be right back. Right now in Ukraine, too many elderly Jews are trapped in unbearable poverty. Galina is a 96-year-old Holocaust survivor who spent her life in the same village. She's sick and alone, and now it's bitter cold. Today, like every day, she must decide whether to spend what little money she has on food, medication, or heating. The Bible tells us that when you bless elderly Jews living in poverty like Galina, you will receive blessings in return. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews and your tax-deductible donation, you can bring hope to those in need. Your gift of just $25 will help provide a food box full of life-saving essentials that will help feed an elderly person struggling to survive. Your gift today to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews will help provide the life-saving food and hope that Galina and many like her so desperately need. To rush your gift, call 844-866-IFCJ, 844-866-IFCJ, or go online to levinforthefellowship.org. That's Levin for thefellowship.org.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. President Trump welcomed 17 Israeli hostages to the White House today, about a month after they were freed by Hamas as part of the ceasefire deal he brokered. Two presented the president with a mezuzah from the burned house they were abducted from on October 7th. Former President George W. Bush delivered the eulogy at the National Cathedral today for the man he tapped to be his VP, Dick Cheney. In 2022, Cheney said,
Then when you can look back on a lifetime in politics and government, and what you value most are the friendships, then I guess you've done all right.
President Trump was not invited, but Vice President J.D. Vance said at an event,
My condolences go to Dick Cheney and his family.
He said while they disagree politically, Cheney deserves to be respected for serving his country. Traffic and weather next.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best when it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. Service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
This goes out to all you finance folks. You're under a lot of pressure to save money, but the best finance leaders focus on more than that. Brex knows you want to drive growth, change the game, and win. So that's exactly what Brex will help you do. Brex offers the world's smartest corporate card, banking, expense management, and travel, all on one AI-powered platform. Are you ready to unlock your peak performance? Join the 30,000 companies making every dollar count with Brex at brex.com/grow.
We're only a few weeks in, and the NBA season is already wild. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
With stays under $250 a night, Vrbo makes it easy to celebrate sweater weather. You could book a cabin stay with leaf views for days, or a brownstone in a city where festivals are just a walk away, or a lakeside home with a fire pit for cozy nights with friends. Or, if you're not a sweater person, we can call it corduroy weather, more flexible. And with stays under $250 a night, you can book a home that suits your exact needs. Book now at Vrbo.com.
Peace to the planet, Charlemagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
Making sense of your world.
Thanks for taking my call.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Greatly appreciated.
Making sense of the news.
Tomorrow on the Chris Plank Show, the Washington Post headline reads, "I love your sweater. Is it made from gay sheep wool?" 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Michael Ben, the thunder on the right. Call him now. 877-381-3811.
I wanted to beat you up.
It's a pleasure to have our friend Hans Spakowski. We just read your piece on the dissent by
like
Judge
this guy
Smith
wants to meet me in
with
Albany.
respect to Judge Brown. In plain English, Hans, what took place here was an absolute judicial power grab and a disgrace, was it not?
Yeah, it was. Look, Jerry Smith, who wrote the dissent, as you know, he's a well-respected member of the Fifth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, and he writes an opinion that just dismantles the majority opinion of the two judges, and I've never seen an opinion like this because he talks about the pernicious judicial misbehavior of Judge Brown, and in fact, the majority opinion, as you saw, is so misleading that at the end of his decision, the dissent, Smith includes a 2-page list of all of the what he calls misleading, deceptive, and false statements that Judge Brown put in the majority opinion.
And he says he can go on further, but he doesn't have time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly what he said. He said it's a non-exhaustive list. And, part of what happened here, he spends the first part of his opinion talking about how Brown rushed this majority opinion through, he believes intentionally, to prevent Smith from being able to review it properly to write the dissent. And I got to tell you, and I'm sure you agree, that I think the Supreme Court justices are going to pay a lot of attention to this dissent, particularly the accusations of misbehavior by Judge Brown.
And people need to understand that Judge Sherry Smith is often a considered nominee for the Supreme Court of the United States. That's how much respect he has, certainly in the higher ranks of the judiciary, no?
Yeah, no, that's correct. And it's also interesting. I didn't have time to get into this because, op-eds can't be that long. But he also spends pages going through the fact that all the challengers in this case, all of the lawyers involved, they were all getting paid by who? George Soros and these liberal organizations to basically litigate this.
He even says in there, doesn't he, that George Soros is happy and Newsom is happy as a result of the decision here, right?
Right. And look, you don't have to understand the law to realize, look, we all saw we saw what was going on in Texas. It was very clear, and this is the point Smith made. Yeah.
Wiggin, I'm in your chat. I can't even see your fucking look at that. Just nothing but a fucking screen. All the motherfuckers got me blocked. Right? And I doubt my post. And if my post shows up, he won't see it because he's got me blocked. But he's got that banned because I've been there with that account.
Of persons of color in the state, which, like I said, it defies common sense.
You're an ignorant motherfucker, Wiggin. You're sincerely an ignorant motherfucker. You wouldn't dare face me man to man, right fucking nose to nose. I'll make you wish you had teeth.
Yeah, they are. In fact, it's so bad that last month, I and one of my colleagues, we started a new column. We're going to try to do it every month.
I just seen you, Aki. Good evening.
To be federal judges, they issue decisions clearly and blatantly are violating the Constitution and federal law.
Mm-hmm. It's really sad because I remember the days when we used to have federal judges that did the right thing, even though it went against their political beliefs before they put on the black robe, even though they were appointed by this one or that one. And it is utterly unreliable now, isn't it? These courts, they are.
It is, and part of the reason is, a large part of the reason is that, it's not limited to Biden appointees and Obama appointees, but those two presidents nominated and unfortunately got confirmed to the federal bench the most left-wing ideologues to have ever become federal judges in our entire history. And that's one of the reasons we're getting so many bad decisions. There are others.
But this guy Brown, this guy Brown is a Trump guy, and I was explaining to the audience, sometimes these guys flip. They sit on the bench long enough.
That's right.
And this is what happens.
Yep, that's right. And in fact, he issued a very bad decision just last year in another redistricting case out of Galveston County, Texas. And in fact, Jerry Smith in his dissent talks about that other bad decision that this Judge Brown issued in that case.
People need to know they all work in the same courthouse, their chambers. They got to go through the same front and back door and everything. So it's not easy from a personal perspective to have to do what Judge Smith did with Brown, is it?
No, it isn't. And we almost never see this kind of a tone in an opinion. And that in itself tells you how bad the misbehavior was of Judge Brown.
Yeah, I mean, to cut out your colleague so he doesn't have time to... In all my years of practicing law and reading cases, I've never even seen this before. Have you ever seen a case where this has happened before?
No, and in fact, Jerry Smith makes that point in his dissenting opinion. He's been a judge for 37 years, and he says he's never, ever had anything like this happen to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe there needs to be filings against that judge, Judge Brown, about what he did. But, then I fear that whole process is another problem in terms of holding judges accountable and so forth. But you think the Supreme Court will reverse this? I think so. Smith's case I did look at this opinion. It was brutal, absolutely brutal and overwhelming, I thought.
No, I thought so too, and I'm hopeful that the Supreme Court will issue a stay of the injunction that was issued by Brown.
Mm-hmm. And they got to move on it because here we are. People are getting ready to run for office. Yeah. All right, Hans. Well done as usual. We appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, he's a good man, Hans von Spakast. as I said, he came out of the Civil Rights Division, the Justice Department, to handle a lot of voting rights cases. This is his wheelhouse, and he does that over at Heritage too, and he does a great job, as a matter of fact. All right, let's circle back to Chuck Schumer's very upset with what Donald Trump had to say, of course. Carolyn Levitt at the White House today. Cut one, please, go.
This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior.
Okay, let me say their behavior was seditious. If that's not seditious. Yeah, you got January 6th. They talk about insurrections and sedition and so forth. So now we have 6 elected members of Congress in the Senate and the House, all Democrats, urging the military to reject the commander-in-chief, to undermine our system of government. Really, in the most horrendous way that has never been done before. And the question always is, the president said this, the president said that. Really? Well, what about what these members said? It is seditious behavior. It is. And if the military adhered to it, it would be insurrection. So what is it that they're calling for? They're calling for the overthrow of the elected president of the United States. He hasn't promoted anything that's unconstitutional or illegal. And if the court says it is, and some of these judges are horrendous, like this clown in Chicago. Now you saw this idiot in Texas, but he complies with them. He complies with them. Go ahead.
This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room.
Does the president want to execute members of Congress?
Brought the president to
wow.
responding in this way. Exactly. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos, and it could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. These 3 members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also the wife of Joe Biden's national security former advisor, Jake Sullivan. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people.
Stop right there. That is a fascinating point. That's very important. And one of these people is the wife of Jake Sullivan, the former head of the National Security Council for Biden. I mean, this is unbelievable, don't you think? Unbelievable. They gonna trash Trump? What? For what? They're calling them out? He said kill them. No, he didn't say kill them. But all that said, what did these people do to cause such a response? I mean, this is an attack on the core function of our republic, these 6 members, and one of them is the wife of Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor under Joe Biden. Go ahead.
In Chief Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Shouldn't they at least have their military-related pensions revoked? Should they at least have their some kind of a status placed on them, some kind of a scarlet letter? I mean, count me as something ought to be done. Obviously, I'm not saying hang them. These people are stupid. The media are stupid. Trump's essentially condemning them for what they did, and he damn well should. He's the commander-in-chief. He's in charge of the military, and then you've got these people telling the military to defy the president because he's giving out unconstitutional legal orders, and everybody's scratching their head that has two brain cells to rub together and say, what are they talking about? Which one are they talking about? There aren't any. Really frightening. This cannot become the norm. We got a lot of things going on, the Jew hatred, the Christianity hatred, the Hitler loving, all this. This cannot become the norm. Veterans elected to the Senate and House who put their party ahead of country, party ahead of their service, and urged the military to essentially sabotage and undermine the elected president who is their commander-in-chief. It's just disgusting. Now, the holidays are going to be here before you know it. Thanksgiving is in just a few days. And for most of us, that means a lot of excitement and stress. Why? Because gifts, travel, higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. And many people are, many of you are. And you can see that balance. It's a disaster. It's hard to pay down every month, and the interest rate keeps piling up, and you wonder, what the hell am I going to do about this? And we got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, we have the Hanukkah, we have these holidays coming up, and I don't want to really throw a wet blanket on the family and the events. Well, you're not alone, If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to American Financing, but you thought, wait a minute, I got a pretty damn good mortgage rate, and I don't really want to exchange that for anything else. Okay. That's why you call American Financing, because they created the smart equity loan. It's a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. So here's what it does. It offers a fixed rate. So you have one predictable monthly rate. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high interest debt, free up all the cash that you're seeking to free up, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. And you really ought to check this out because it's a brilliant program they have, the Smart Equity Loan. And there's no upfront fees. To find out if you qualify, call 888-900-1828. And as I've told you before, I've used American Financing. 888-900-1828, 888-900-1828, or visit AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR rates for NF5 start at 6.196% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 800-900-1828 for details about credit costs and terms.
Oh, boy. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
Then here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Still slow go on the inner loop headed from 66 to the 270 spur, and delays continue headed from Connecticut Avenue towards New Hampshire Avenue. Earlier disabled vehicle on the inner loop at Kenilworth Avenue clear, but traffic still heavy from 95. And on the outer loop, all earlier incidents now cleared away, but it is still slow on the outer loop from St. Barnabas Road to Greenbelt, from the Toll Road to the Little River Turnpike, and from the Springfield Interchange to the Wilson Bridge. On the Prince William Parkway northbound at Wellington Road, watch out for disabled in the right lane. And there is an accident now reported on Maryland 28, just north of 109 in Bealsville. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, cloudy with a low around 42. Tomorrow, cloudy with a chance of rain, high near 57.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best when it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. Service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
Broil in top round to make keep your
check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine, ABS, or maintenance light with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
Crispy on the outside, nice and tender on the inside.
We're only a few weeks in, and the NBA season is already wild. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HEART. That's promo code HEART. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. With promo code HEART, in partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Are you ready to open your heart and home for 18 months to a puppy like Esther? To find out more about becoming a canine companion for Independence Puppy Raiser, visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
A new Hillsdale College miniseries on colonial America offers a fresh way to think about Thanksgiving. Beyond the food and the political debates, it reminds us what we should truly be thankful for: our freedom, our prosperity, and our faith. In a brand new 6-part documentary series, Hillsdale College professors will teach you the religious, political, cultural, and economic ideas that shaped a uniquely American culture during the colonial period. You'll learn why the idea of liberty, especially religious liberty, inspired the settlers of America to cross the Atlantic, and why America has always been a land where virtue can lead to peace and prosperity. The Hillsdale College miniseries is completely free and it's easy to access. Plus, Hillsdale offers more than 40 other free online courses, including a course on C.S. Lewis, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic. So go right now to levinforhillsdale.com to enroll. There's no cost, easy to get started. That's levinforhillsdale.com. Register for free, LEVIN for Hillsdale.com.
Making sense of your world.
I don't know where to begin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Thanks for taking my call.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the border. Because laws either matter or they don't. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
I need to go to the restaurant supply store so I can buy the rags to lay the meat
Wasn't
on,
done.
so
She
I
is
can use
superb,
that.
absolutely superb. Cut to go.
The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing?
Why aren't they condemning the video and these 6 Democrat members? It's just incredible to me how corrupt and the cronyism in the media. It's disgusting. Go ahead.
Members of Congress should be killed.
Why aren't you talking about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders. Every single
refuse an illegal order.
And notice how they interrupt her. No, they were talking about illegal orders, but they haven't presented any, have they? I mean, he hasn't even used the Insurrection Act, as other presidents have, to put down, the Democrat Party militia in the streets, preventing us from enforcing our immigration deportation laws. But just listen to this media. It's so outrageously ideological. You have to wonder how the Democrats ever lose. Seriously. How do they ever lose? They control the media. They control academia. They control the culture. How do these people ever lose? Go ahead.
suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And that's what the president wants to see.
Mm-hmm. And then you had this complete nutjob, Chris Murphy. Listen to this dumb. Oops, caught myself. Cut 4, go.
President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed. This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel normal. This, as far as I know, has never.
You know it's not normal, you pal. In no way are you normal. Every damn day, 10 times a day, you're on radio, you're on TV, and now you're putting out your own video messages. You hate this country. You really do. You're a power-hungry thug. You'll say anything and do anything. You are a demagogue. You're a propagandist. You're the worst of the worst. Really? I have to scrape you off the bottom of my sneaker. I'll be right back.
At Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, we know healthcare works best when it works together. That's why we provide a coordinated, caring, personalized, and holistic health plan experience, ensuring that people come first. Service is simple, and our network is unmatched, period. It all comes down to connecting the dots for you and your employees, improving care, and helping to manage costs for everyone. Because when everything works together, everybody benefits. Learn more at excelisforbusiness.com.
We're only a few weeks in, and the NBA season is already wild. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Starlight Children's Foundation brightens the lives of sick kids like my son Finn, who was born with congenital heart disease. Learn more about Starlight by visiting starlight.org today.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Heather Curtis. We're learning about disturbing allegations made against a local police officer.
A member of the Hyattsville Police Department is accused of sexually abusing a minor. Corporal Jonathan Monge faces rape and several other charges. The county state's attorney office says due to the victim's age and sensitive nature of the allegations, no additional details will be released at this time.
7 News' Victoria Sanchez. Reaction from the Senate as 2 D.C. crime bills had their way after House passage yesterday.
The kind of gotcha bills to try to embarrass D.C.
Virginia Senator Mark Warner after the House voted to roll back a 2022 police reform and remove cashless bail, something U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro and Republicans support.
Everyone in this country has seen, and we see it in big cities, and we've certainly seen it in D.C., that these offenders are released to reoffend, and reoffend again.
Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton calling the bill's anti-home rule. Senator Warner adding,
I think Congress should not try to micromanage D.C. governance.
The bill's head to the Senate for more review. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
D.C. Attorney General Brian Schwab's declaring victory after a federal judge sided with him and ordered the Trump administration to end its months-long deployment of National Guard in D.C. Schwab said it's long past time to let them go home. The judge said the deployment violates the Constitution and illegally intrudes on the city's ability to direct its police. Schwab said last month,
the military has no business doing civilian policing of Americans on American soil.
The DOJ called the lawsuit a political stunt. The judge put her order on hold for 21 days to allow for an appeal. Accusations are flying on the Hill. Fox's Jared Halpern.
Several House and Senate Democrats with military and national security backgrounds released a social media video telling military members to refuse illegal orders. President Trump calls that seditious behavior from traitors punishable by death. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says it's the lawmakers' rhetoric that is dangerous.
Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accuses the president of
lighting a match in a country soaked with political gasoline.
He's asked Capitol Police for extra protection for lawmakers. The Baltimore Key Bridge rebuild numbers are skyrocketing, and Maryland's former governor warns that's going to hit Maryland residents in the pocketbooks.
Nobody should be shocked because I'm not buying the new numbers either.
Former Maryland GOP Governor Bob Ehrlich tells WMAL's O'Connor and Company,
when the bridge went down, President Biden said, hey, we'll take care of it. And everybody just sat back and said, sure. And then we had an election.
Revised rebuild estimates for the Key Bridge now top $5 billion, and the timeline has been pushed out 2 more years to 2030. Ehrlich says that hurts the local economy.
So businesses and commerce.
Governor Wes Moore insists the initial bridge rebuild estimates were due before engineering studies were complete. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
A ribbon cutting tomorrow for the 2.5-mile northern extension of the express lanes. The stretch is set to open Saturday, just in time for the Thanksgiving travel rush. The project expands the current 495 express lanes from the Dulles Toll Road to the GW Parkway. If you're driving solo, you'll pay a toll based on how bad the congestion is. If you have 2 passengers in the car, you can ride for free. Traffic weather next.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. But what's more, MediShare members like it. We know this from member surveys. They like it a lot. It's a proven thing now. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing, too. If you join before November 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they will waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. Again, the deadline is November 30th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. Call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Feeling a little broken these days? There's a reason. We're all aging. I'm Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, co-founder of Fatty 15, and I'm so excited to share with you C15 from Fatty 15. C15 is a crucial healthy aging nutrient that strengthens cells and reverses aging at the cellular level. I discovered the benefits of C15 while helping older Navy dolphins, then spent a decade with fellow doctors to optimize it. With over 100 studies, 60 patents, and 20 awards, science-backed Fatty 15 has 36 cellular activities that support our metabolic, cognitive, liver, immune, and red blood cell health. 70% of Fatty 15 customers report benefits within 16 weeks. Find out today why over 100,000 people have made Fatty 15 their must-have healthy aging supplement. Get an additional 15% off the starter kit by going to fatty15.com/USA and using code USA at checkout.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Still a slow go on the inner loop between the Leesburg Pike and the Spur. Now an accident on the inner loop between New Hampshire Avenue and 95 blocks the right lane. And that has traffic jam from 355. Outer loop still heavy from 123 towards 236. And from the Springfield interchange to the Wilson Bridge, earlier crash in the local lanes on the outer loop before Telegraph Road, now cleared away. In Greenbelt, watch out for an accident southbound on the BW Parkway at NASA Goddard in the right lane. That is traffic jam from 198. Northbound side still heavy towards Riverdale, heading in towards Greenbelt. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Mostly cloudy skies here this evening, but no rain anticipated. We'll have temperatures between 42 and 48 degrees. By morning, we'll be down to 39 to 49 degrees, scattered clouds and patchy fog. 6-7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 48 in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
Now broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, hello. 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. The great Stephen A. Smith will be on in about 15 minutes. Shout out to my wife. She's not expecting it. But that's what makes it great, you know? When you bring your wife flowers or a little gift, or do a little something special, and she's not expecting it, that's good. Don't you think, Mr. Producer? Poor Mr. Producer has a virus or flu or something. He can barely keep his tongue off the table. I apologize, my friend. I'm sorry you're going through that. By the way, they say the flu this season is going to be worse than last year, that it's going to be brutal. I always get this damn flu. I get the shots, I get the flu. Now, they say this shot doesn't necessarily sync up with this kind of flu, but they also say it's better than not. Well, I go both ways on this. May I say? May I say I'm a bi-flu? May I say that, Mr. Producer? But in any event, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. It doesn't seem to matter. Oops, he got it. And you know what I do when I get sick? I shut the door. I want to be left alone. Just my wife, so just leave me alone. Let me watch the Jewelry Channel on the wheel, go round and round and round. Please. That's it. You know how she tells me, she says to me, when I'm hungry, I'm in a bad mood. Are you in a bad mood when you're hungry, Mr. Rich? Hangry, I know. She says I get hangry. Do you? You do? I think I do too. So it's important to keep eating. That's the moral of that story, I think. But there you have it. All right. We've got a lot to do, but a lot to do or a lot not to do. There's a lot to discuss. First thing to discuss is how to shut off my laptop here. Hold on a second, folks. So I get a call from a person whose name shall be kept quiet. And he says to me last night, Mr. Producer, look, I know you don't like Saudi Arabia, and I know you like Qatar less. But we are getting trillions of dollars from these countries, and when you consider that, what we're giving in return isn't all that big of a deal, is it? Can you guess who it was, Mr. Producer? He's so persuasive and smart, the president. That's who it was. All right, everybody figured it out. It's just remarkable. He really is. And I'm thinking, well, he's probably right, because what the hell are the Saudis going to do with these F-35s? Seriously, what are they going to do with them? They're not going to attack Israel.
Why is that so loud?
Israel will still blow them out of the sky, but they have no reason to do that. But then as I posted, Qatar and Saudi Arabia cannot stand each other, because Qatar tried to overthrow Saudi Arabia because Qatar backs terrorists. And as I pointed out the other day, Qatar backs the Houthis, as obviously does Iran. And the Houthis in Yemen were firing missiles and everything else into Saudi Arabia for a long period of time there, trying to take them out. And so I'm thinking, okay, we have this military pact via executive order, which can be reversed by the next president, but as of now. And then we've announced a declaration of sorts that in the case of Saudi Arabia, that they are a major non-NATO ally, which means really the same thing. We will come to their defense. So I'm thinking, okay, so if they fight each other, what are we going to do? Are we going to send the Navy to help one and the Air Force to help another? No. So the president didn't say this to me, but I suspect his view is I just don't see anything actually breaking out between these two countries. It's my guess. So I was going to tell him, but I didn't because I forgot I was going to, Mr. President, you didn't invite me to that. It wasn't a state dinner, but it could have been for the, what is he, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, a.k.a. the next inbred, may I say. But you can see why he wouldn't invite me, right? No, Jews were invited. Don't get me. Zeldin was in there, and another one's in there. Oh, yeah. We want to come in. We want to. Great. So I would have come in, maybe, Mr. Producer, maybe I would have brought, some matzah with me. Gefilte fish. Nobody liked gefilte. I like it. I'm not a fish guy, and I like it. I don't know what. What else? Matzo ball soup. Oh! In one of those plastic containers they have at the deli, and I could have said to Mr. Crown Prince of, my deepest respects. You might want to take this home with you. Give a little to your father. I know is ailing, the king, so forth and so on. So, I don't go to any of those things. It doesn't matter. I saw a whole list of people. About a third of them were Saudis who went. Then you got these members of Congress. From Fox, there was Brett Baer and Maria Bartiromo. I didn't see anybody else on that list from there. Some of the other people, it's a published list. Certain key members of Congress, the House and the Senate. Am I the only one with that stuff?
She couldn't. I asked her to come on, clean it up, right? It's fucking prime time at night right here. Right, between 6 and 9, 9 to midnight, and she's, she just keeps responding to her about her mud flaps and lava lamps and all kinds of shit. But we're the triggered ones. She's got Bud Noble on her side, and she's got Kevin's channel on her side. She's got Colin C on her side. She got all the men fucking, She does not know how to have a conversation. Lady Venom, you said a long time ago when all this shit started, I could have Billy anytime I wanted. That's just what you fucking said, bitch.
And chanting and yelling at people at the synagogue. As written in the, what is it here? The Jewish Insider. They love me over there. They never mention me. Like I don't exist. You folks think every Jewish publication that loves me. It's not true. It's not true. A lot of them are very liberal. Jewish Insiders, left center. Don't mention Levin. Don't mention Levin. Anyway, but they're very good Jewish publications too, like they're good other ethnic and religious publications, and bad ones too. So here's Mondami. Zohar Mondami, the mayor-elect of New York City, distanced himself from a widely criticized demonstration outside a prominent synagogue in Manhattan, where anti-Israel protesters, it's really pro-Hamas protesters, were shouting death to the IDF. I wonder if Tucker was there. Was Tucker there, Mr. Ritter? Do we know that? Was he wearing something over his head? Where was I? How about Megyn Kelly? She's losing it. I'm in her head like nothing else. Man, she's unraveling. And of course, she upset everybody because she said one of the stupidest things any human being has ever burped up about 15 and 16-year-olds and pedophilia, but she'll have to live with that the rest of her life. That's her problem. The mayor-elect has discouraged the language used at last night's protest and will continue to do so. Wow. That's something else. He discouraged the language. Did he put down the protest at which these people were being intimidated while they were trying to get into their synagogues? Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Well, there you go. He took a forceful stance, and so they say. I don't say that. He says that. All right, we're going to dig in here with Stephen A. Smith in a moment. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Feeling a little broken these days? There's a reason. We're all aging. I'm Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, co-founder of Fatty 15, and I'm so excited to share with you C15 from Fatty 15. C15 is a crucial healthy aging nutrient that strengthens cells and reverses aging at the cellular level. I discovered the benefits of C15 while helping older Navy dolphins, then spent a decade with fellow doctors to optimize it. With over 100 studies, 60 patents, and 20 awards, science-backed Fatty 15 has 36 cellular activities that support our metabolic, cognitive, liver, immune, and red blood cell health. 70% of Fatty 15 customers report benefits within 16 weeks. Find out today why over 100,000 people have made Fatty 15 their must-have healthy aging supplement. Get an additional 15% off the starter kit by going to fatty15.com/USA and using code USA at checkout.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. But what's more, MediShare members like it. We know this from member surveys. They like it a lot. It's a proven thing now. MediShare's been around for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing, too. If you join before November 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they will waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. Again, the deadline is November 30th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. Call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. 855-BIBLE-11.
Oh. There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just.
All text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Making sense of your world.
There are a lot of things that really tick me off.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
An antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying apps. The NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
Making sense of your world.
Greatly appreciated.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
I love listening to you.
Making sense of the news.
Tomorrow on the Chris Black Show, the Washington Post headline reads, "I love your sweater. Is it made from gay chic wool?" 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Mark Levin, the research arm of conservative media. Call in now, 877-381-3811.
It's a pleasure to have my friend Stephen A. Smith. I have to admit, he's become incredibly famous and ubiquitous. He's got more platforms than, it's unbelievable. But he deserves it. Stephen A., how are you, my friend?
What's up, Big Tom? How are you, sir? How's everything?
I am doing great, thank you. My Eagles are doing great. Phillies were let down.
Somewhat.
What? Come on, man.
Eagles,
Tell me.
The Eagles are doing great in terms of their record, but their offense has been struggling miserably. And, just looking at them, if they don't get their act together offensively, they're not going to repeat as champions.
I don't disagree with that. But, you know, whether it's sports or politics or military battles, if a team has enough class and grit and guts to win, the offense isn't cutting it, the defense picks up, things of that sort, that's a good thing. But you're right. If they're going to be in the Super Bowl and they're going to win, they're going to have to pick up.
No doubt.
Now, let me ask you this, not about sports so much. You say a lot of things, you know, about the culture and society and politics that I actually agree with. You were put off by Michelle Obama's comments the other day, and you say what you believe. And that, as you put it, that had to go down not great in, quote unquote, the community, as you put it. And on the other hand, you do say, okay, what about this Jew hatred and racism and bigotry and so forth on the right? We see it on the left. What about you guys on the right? And so I agree with that, by the way. And I've talked about it a lot. In fact, I was talking about it when nobody wanted to talk about it. So this world you're in, is it different than sports? Or because I notice sports gets into some of this stuff too. How do you go in with, do you bifurcate the two? How do you approach this?
Well, you know, sports at the end of the day is a game. It's about games. But this is about real life. And so there's an elevated level of seriousness that comes with the kind of issues that you talk about. However, I know that I know my sports backwards and forwards.
Amen.
That's not the case with politics. And so what I do is, what's the next best thing? If you're not an aficionado or an expert, but you're a conscientious observer who cares about America, who cares about what's in the best interest of the country as a whole, and you want to get this ship steered in the right direction, you should be in tireless pursuit of the truth. Obviously so. You should take all things into consideration. And what you should do is be unapologetic about stating where you stand based on the information that you have and what's out there, and being honest enough with folks out there to let them know this is what you feel, here's why, but you're open-minded enough to be corrected. I think that when you have that kind of attitude, it allows you to touch on a level of decency that exists in this country. We can agree without being disagreeable, and we can go from there. On far too many occasions, however, particularly in your world, in the world of politics and beyond, what we see are ideologues. And if you don't agree with somebody, they hate on you. They try to do one of three things when you're in my position. They try to ally you. If that doesn't work, they try to neutralize you. And if that doesn't work, they try to destroy you. And so they will twist and turn. They will make sure that, you know, your words are not contextualized properly, that it's not taken in the right context or anything. You could be a Stephen A. Smith and you could be a friends with a Sean Hannity and a Mark Levin, and you're selling out your community. You could be a Stephen A. Smith and you say to Michelle Obama, I respect you, I revere you, but how dare you say that, you know, men we're not ready to have a woman as the president of the United States, or we weren't ready to have a woman as the president of the United States when it came to Kamala Harris. But in the same breath, your side of the aisle is accusing the Republicans of trying to subvert democracy, but you guys didn't want a primary for her to go through, and you waited forever in the day to do what was clearly obvious, which was remove Joe Biden from the equation, especially after the debate against Trump. So once she got into the position to be the Democratic nominee, there would be no competition, and that's what enabled her to be in that position. For us to bring those questions up, for us to ask those questions, you know, all of a sudden, it's something that's bad for our community. And I just don't vibe with that. I think that when I listen to conservatives, when I listen to moderates on either side of the aisle, alluding to things that transpired in the 60s, alluding to the KKK and its association with some Democratic members of the Democratic Party. And I'll give you an example. I've been in situations, Mark, where just logically, I've sat up there and I've said to folks, if you are a member of the Republican Party and you know that a history of racism has by and large been associated, for example, with the Democratic Party instead of your party, If you know that even though Lyndon B. Johnson signed civil rights into legislation, but it was Republicans who assisted in bringing that legislation to his desk. And all of that gets ignored because a Democrat is able to convince a community it was us, it wasn't them, and you know that's not true. Wouldn't you resent it? Wouldn't you feel disgusted by it? Wouldn't it bother you? I'm just using that as an example to point out how I think. I ask those questions, and I'm not one that's going to be bought and sold or intimidated into vibing with one party at the expense of another just because you tell me to.
But I haven't been posting.
What do the facts say? What's the truth? I want to get as close to it as possible. And if that alienates people and makes them turn against me, so be it. I never wanted you on my side anyway.
Good point. You're a practicing capitalist, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and proud of it. I'm not into socialism. I'm not into communism. I'm not into any of that. I'm an American citizen. I'm a proud black man who is a proud capitalist. That's a capitalist system that we've lived in. I've heard about Cuba. I've heard about Venezuela. I've heard about other parts of this world that have engaged in such things, and I've never heard anybody bragging about how economically that's better for a nation than capitalism. This is America. It's capitalistic society that we live in, and I'm all for it.
And it gives people opportunities if they'll grab it and try it, don't you think? Look at you. You didn't grow up wealthy. You grew up in a one-parent household. Your wonderful dear mother raised you. She worked multiple jobs. She broke her back doing what she needed to do. She raises a wonderful son like you. You're a writer. You become a newspaper man. You work your way up. You're the American dream.
Well, I'll say this. I have both parents in. It's just that one acted like a parent and the other didn't, but they were both there. What I would tell you is that, listen, I've always been a moderator, and I'll tell you this. My mother, this is the interesting part of, and a lot of black families, I think, are like this, but I don't know for sure, obviously. I would tell you that my mother always voted Democrat. I never saw much in our house that was Democratic. My mother was conservative to the core until she went to the polls, and then she would usually vote for a Democrat, whether it was Mario Cuomo as the governor of New York, or it was, it was somebody running for president, whether it was a Jimmy Carter or whether it was a Bill Clinton or anybody. That's how my mother was.
Don't hang up. Don't hang. I want to finish this with you. A lot of that started after FDR and the New Deal, and not just for blacks, for Jews and Hispanics and so forth. But we'll talk about this and a little bit more. Maybe I'll circle back to sports with the great Stephen A. Smith. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-995-4766 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-995-4766. That's 800-995-4766. What do you have to lose? Call 800-995-4766. Again, 800-995-4766.
On the BW Parkway, southbound at Greenbelt, there is a crash. The right lane is blocked at NASA Goddard. Traffic is jammed from 197. On the northbound side of the BW Parkway, traffic is stop and go from 450 to 197. Now onto the Beltway in Montgomery County. Inner loop, you'll find an accident. Right shoulder is blocked at New Hampshire Avenue. Traffic is jammed from Brockville Pike. Now into Prince George's County. The inner loop of the Beltway, no issues. But on the outer loop of the Beltway in Landover, you'll find it slow between Landover Road and 450. And now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, cloudy with a low around 42. Tomorrow, cloudy with a chance of rain, high near 57.
Feeling a little broken these days? There's a reason. We're all aging. I'm Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, co-founder of Fatty 15, and I'm so excited to share with you C15 from Fatty 15. C15 is a crucial healthy aging nutrient that strengthens cells and reverses aging at the cellular level. I discovered the benefits of C15 while helping older Navy dolphins, then spent a decade with fellow doctors to optimize it. With over 100 studies, 60 patents, and 20 awards, science-backed Fatty 15 has 36 cellular activities that support our metabolic, cognitive, liver, immune, and red blood cell health. 70% of Fatty 15 customers report benefits within 16 weeks. Find out today why over 100,000 people have made Fatty 15 their must-have healthy aging supplement. Get an additional 15% off the starter kit by going to fatty15.com/USA and using code USA at checkout.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
This episode is supported by Brex. Brex helps finance teams unlock their peak performance with the world's smartest corporate card, banking, expense management, and travel, all on one AI-powered platform. See why 30,000 companies across every stage of growth use Brex at brex.com/grow.
For over 25 years, APMEX has been the most trusted name in precious metals. Whether you're buying gold and silver for the first time or adding to your collection, you need a partner you can rely on. Over 2 million customers have trusted APMEX to secure their wealth and protect against inflation. Visit apmex.com today and invest with confidence. That's apmex.com, where precious metals meet peace of mind.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/aware. Terms apply.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with everything you're saying.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
My heart is great for what's going on.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of party politics, because somebody's got to hold their feet to the fire. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
The best show on ESPN is First Take. There's no question about it. ESPN knows that. That's because of Stephen A. He's got a great podcast on YouTube, Stephen A. Smith Show. So we were talking, Stephen A., before the break about your mom really led a very conservative household, but she voted Democrat. A lot of people did that. My ancestors did that. Because one of the things the New Deal did is, it did a lot of redistribution of wealth, expanded welfare programs like that. And a lot of people took advantage of those, and many of them needed it during the Depression. But it's very interesting. When it comes to civil rights, and I've written about that, he had a very poor record. In 1940, Joe Louis was furious with him because he wouldn't sign the federal anti-lynching bill because he wanted to win votes in the South. He wouldn't meet with black organizations, even though they begged to meet with him. And I go on. And for Jews who voted heavily for FDR, his State Department actually lowered the number of Jews who could come into the country from quotas before in the middle of the Holocaust. So he put together, in many ways, this coalition of minority groups and so forth that the Democrat Party has relied on ever since. And yet, if you really dig into the record, and here's part of the problem. A guy like you will dig into the record. I'll dig into the record. But the media in this country really doesn't care to dig into the record. Why do you think that is?
People have their beliefs, and I think that's a huge problem within the media because they've engaged in partisanship, and that's why Trump has been on the prowl, attacking them at every turn. A simple solution to all the problems that ails the fourth estate, which is the media, is to simply do not take sides. Make sure you go after both sides equally. Neither side likes you, or neither side dislikes you. Whatever it is, make sure you do that. Covering sports, at some point in time, you got to call it like you see it. There is no escape. You go out and you play like trash, we got to say so. You play exceptionally well and you're head and shoulders above the others, we got to say so. So for me, to know that I do that, and I've done that throughout my 30-plus year career, it's easy for me to make the transition into the world of politics and say, what is this? For example, we have a shutdown going on. On one hand, of course I'm going to point the finger at the Democrats. 43-day shutdown, what the hell are you thinking? You got federal workers that are not receiving checks, while these elected officials are receiving checks and having their health care. How do you justify that? You're holding out for Affordable Care Act subsidies. Didn't you tell us it wasn't going to cost as much? Didn't you tell us if we wanted to keep our doctors, we could keep our doctors? Didn't you tell us it was going to be about $900 billion and it's cost us over $1.5 trillion, and now you were seeking an additional $1.5 trillion? Where does it end? So on that side, the Democrats are wrong. On the other side of the aisle, how come we couldn't address this in the big, beautiful bill, President Trump? Oh, by the way, I thought you were the ultimate deal maker, that you could make something work. You could work out something with anybody. You're the author of the art of the deal. Where are you at? Okay? I think about things like that.
Well, hold on, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Not to be knee-jerk about this. You can be ahead of the art of the deal if the other side doesn't want to deal. And they take what's not just untraditional, but never been done, which is shut down the government during a continuing resolution. It's tough to deal. It's just tough. Now you see that, and you see that beyond politics. You see it in sports. You see it in business. Go ahead.
That's true. All I was doing was chiding him a little bit because he always bloviates about how he can do what no one else can do.
Do you like him or not? Or it's not a like issue with you?
It's not a like issue with me. Let me say this about President Trump. What I will never do is sit up here and talk about him the way the Democrats did for a separate reason. I had no problem with him before he ran for the presidency. We used to go to his events all the time, his casinos, his hotels, everything. We'd see each other at games. He was the one who introduced me to Bill O'Reilly at a mixtape many years ago. Yes, sir. Okay. And I would be at the Wynn Hotel in Vegas, and all of a sudden people come running to me. Wait a minute, Mr. Trump is here. He wants to say hello and stuff like that. Always kind to me, always decent to me, always got along with a whole bunch of us as black folks in the world of sports and beyond. So all of this racist stuff, Nazi stuff, you never heard those words coming out of my mouth because I knew that was nonsense, that he was never like that. And I was never going to sit up here and transition to that. What I would say is that the pettiness, the lack of statesmanship, the belittling of other people and stuff like that. Do I believe that the presidency is a statesmanship position? Yes. Do I wish he would act better? Yes. Do I think that he prioritized not being so petty and focus on issues that are really, really relevant to us? Sure. And I had Jim Jordan on my show and then Mike Johnson. I spoke to both of them about this with them, and Jim Jordan started laughing because originally he was saying that the president does what he says he's going to do, and that's why we love him and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, but he's also on a vengeance tour. And then Jim Jordan tried to push back, and I said, are you kidding me? You understand what's with some of the people that he's going after? Let
me ask you before we run out of time. What's wrong with a vengeance tour?
In 2016, according to my sources, Donald Trump had a boatload of information on Hillary Rodham Clinton and those 33,000 emails.
Right.
And he could have gotten her, and he said, leave it alone. It's not in the best interest of the country.
And then comes 2020, hold on now, and they unleash the Department of Justice. They bring phony cases against him. They go after his family. They go after his money. They go after everything. Cases are being thrown out.
And he got the ultimate revenge, Mark. He got the ultimate revenge. He won the presidency. He's back.
But he won the presidency in spite of what I agree. I tell you as a lawyer, horrendous. Okay. So why is it so bad? He says that hold on now. Why is it so bad? He says to the Department of Justice, you need to get to the bottom of this. We can't have people like we can't have people like a Smith going around and doing this to people, and I can't have the criminal division doing this to people. Look, if we come to anybody else, we would agree that it's outrageous. And I don't view this so much, and I should have said it tongue in cheek, a vengeance story. I view this as this has to be fixed, and the people responsible need to be held to account.
And I'm not saying that that's unfair. That's not unfair coming from you and others. What I'm trying to say is that on many, many occasions, when we take the country into consideration and we think what's in the best interest, we're thinking about the people, not just ourselves. And here's why that matters. Because you have folks on the left and the right that when you engage in this kind of behavior, and I'm not blaming just him, please don't get me wrong, I'm just answering your question. I'm just answering your question from a generic perspective. When that keeps going on, ultimately the divide widens. And then somehow, some way, it gets into the streets of America where, because of this binary system that we live in, everybody is focused on their side winning. And if their side doesn't win, oh my God, Armageddon has arrived and the world is going to come to an end. This is America. We have incredible intestinal resolve. We can overcome anything if our focus is where it needs to be and our minds are right. And we're out in the streets recognizing and celebrating what America is, recognizing we have our flaws, but we're still the greatest country in the world. We don't need to have that kind of attitude, and we need to find a way to move forward. I'm not saying the way to move forward is by turning a blind eye and a deaf ear about what happened to them. I'm saying somewhere along the way, we got to think about the chaos and the mayhem that has been pervasive in the streets of America because of the divide that has existed, and ask ourselves, how much is this truly benefiting us? That's all I'm saying.
I think a lot going on in the streets have nothing to do with it. A lot going on in the streets have to do with people we brought into this country who will not assimilate into this country like people in the past have.
That's true.
And I'll tell you something else. You know what?
I don't disagree with you there. I don't disagree with that.
You're going to miss this man in 10 years. You mark my words. If I'm still alive, I'm going to bring you back. Obviously before that. But still, people are going to miss this guy because, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not denying that. I don't need 10 years. I think that everything he's done hasn't been wrong in my eyes. I totally agree with what he's done with immigration. I don't like to see ICE, the optics of ICE in the streets of America with that stuff going on, but I understand why he needed to do what he needed to do in terms of closing the borders, okay? You look at the National Guard in some of these cities. No, I don't agree with him putting the National Guard in the city, but I asked Governor Pritzker of Illinois when he was on my show, how come you haven't asked for his help? Because if I'm a governor of a state, guess what I'm doing? If I got issues in the streets of my state, and he offers assistance, I'm going to say, can we talk? Because I don't know if I want your idea exactly, but I certainly want your assistance.
What did Pritzker say?
Can I talk to you about it, Mr. President? And he said, you're absolutely right, Stephen.
He doesn't do it.
But not to help you. Exactly. Not that, why haven't you done it? He said, because of what he's offering to do and the heavy hand with which he's doing it. But
he never talked to him. He never talked to him.
I'm just telling you what he said. You're right. Yeah. And I'm not refuting that. You would know better than me. I'm just telling you what he told me. See, I like to get these people on the record. And then that way, people like yourself and various others who know, you heard them on the record, so you know whether they lied or whether they told the truth. I was doing sports for 30 years. I'm just doing this stuff now. So I don't know if it's true or not true, but I know I get them on the record to say it. And that's my point. And then
I've got to go, but I want to tell you something. You're terrific. You really are. And I really enjoyed talking to you. I enjoy our friendship. Folks, you got to know what a sweetheart this guy is.
Same here.
He really is. He really is a good man. Treats people with respect. He's passionate about what he does. That's why he is what he is. There's only one Stephen A. Smith. Don't get mad at me,
and I don't mind learning. I don't mind learning. I don't know everything. I learn as I go
can't
along.
tell. Don't get mad at me. I'm sure I'll be loved over there. I can't tell 90% of the ESPN guys from one from the other. I'm just being honest. That guy played fullback. That guy was a linebacker. That guy picked his nose. I don't know who's what, but I know you, and you're damn good. God bless you, my friend.
God bless you. All the best.
All right, man. Take care. Man, I like him. He's great. No, we don't always agree, okay? He says it, I say it, he knows it, I know it, Sean knows it. It's okay. This is the way it's supposed to be, okay? This is the way I used to deal with people who were more liberal, or not even more liberal, less conservative than I am. This is the way it used to be. Now, oh, the Jews are trying to get us. You know, I'm not. You know what I mean, Mr. Blue? There's a slight difference. I mean, it's disgusting. He's a good man. I know his heart. He's a good man. The world that's gone fully digital, holding something real in your hands is almost revolutionary. That's what Frontier Magazine is, a piece of history you can touch, a tangible record of the truth in a time when truth is too easily erased. Now, Frontier from Blaze Media is back with issue number 4, our boldest, most unapologetic edition yet. And when you own Frontier from Blaze Media, you'll own something that can't be buried by an algorithm. You can pass it on one generation to the next. Now, I don't know how many magazines are passed on one generation to the next, but I think you're going to really like this one. And I'll tell you what's really happening. The only way to get it is through Blaze Unlimited at blazeunlimited.com/Levin, blazeunlimited.com/LEVIN. Your ticket to Frontier, plus early access to events, VIP treatment, members-only content built for people who want to go deeper. This isn't just about reading the truth. It's about owning it. So I want to encourage you to visit blazeunlimited.com/Levin. Go there now. Use promo code Frontier40, Frontier40. You get $40 off, plus digital access to issues 1, 2, and 3. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
Most people would rather attend a corporate team building workshop than search for auto and home insurance.
Go team, feel that synergy.
That's why the Zebra searches for you, comparing over 100 insurance companies to find savings no one else can. Compare today at thezebra.com.
Who's ready for the trust fall?
Peace to the planet, Charlemagne the God here.
I'm calling it a night. I'll be back later. Rocky, everybody, I'll see you later.